Morning, guys. I'm gonna have a quick chat with you. Just making a tea and a coffee. There's no kids down yet, so fingers crossed. But I do have to take my daughter to work in half an hour. So let's see how things go. So it's Priscilla Presley. I didn't do it. Part 3, and I have had some amazing comments. Amazing, and I must read them to you. Let me just grab my tea. It's about 7:30 in the morning, maybe 8 a.m. I've been watching a bit of Elvis stuff on TV. Let me just get the coffee ready. I make my coffee with butter and no sugar because I think it stops me from being hungry all the time. I know that might sound a bit yuck to you, but when you whisk up the coffee with butter, it doesn't taste like butter. It tastes like cream, and it's less fattening. And some of you may know that I am on a carnivore keto diet. I've been on it for about a year, and since I've been on that diet, which basically means I have cut out all my sugar and my carbs and potato, starchy things. Oh, the dog wants to go out. Let's let the Jack Russells are down. Ella and Princess. Ella is 8, Princess is 14. So, as I was saying, I'm on a meat, eggs, fish diet with lots of fat in my meat. Fat is very good for you. And I've reduced my fruit and veg to a smaller amount. So I tend to have strawberries and berries and green veg. And I've completely stopped my sugars and my breads and my pastas and my rice, and potatoes, and it's transformed my health. I used to be pre-diabetic. I now have reversed that because of this diet. I don't drink any alcohol or fizzy drinks. I also had a very bad case of ulcerative colitis, which was so bad I was very unwell for about 10 years in this area here. And going on the meat carnivore diet, meat, eggs, fish, chicken, beef, steak, prawns, salmon, all that has within months regained my health. And I lost loads of weight. I lost my big tummy. I lost all the weight off my face and my energy levels returned. So this diet, this carnivore keto diet, has really transformed my life. And I've had my bloods checked. I'm not pre-diabetic anymore. My ulcerative colitis has completely gone. I have normal bowel movements, and I'm full of energy every day. And that's what the diet's done for me, guys. Just wanted to quickly share that. Right, let's get me coffee, and then we can start sharing these comments. And some of these comments are just so intelligent. Okay, now let that get the butter whisked into it. I just put a very small splash of milk. I don't like too much milk. I find milk disagrees with me. I only have a little bit. I've already had a cup of tea. Right. Let's just do this. Sorry, guys. I think that's it. Bit of a sprinkle on the top so it looks prettier. I know that a lot of you out there, especially the Americans, love their coffee. I know this. Get some extra hot water so that I can top it up as we talk. So, let's see how many interruptions we get, guys. Look at that. Does that look nice? Butter coffee. Get nice and close. Now that is tasty. No sugar, Not fat. Well, I suppose you do get some calories in your butter. Okay, so I have had a brilliant response to my Priscilla Presley I Didn't Do It video. Can you see that? Let's have a look. Let's get nice and close. And yes, I am doing a lot of videos responding to Priscilla Presley and the life she had with Elvis between 59 right up until the divorce and after the divorce and to today. Yeah. I really think that Priscilla is a pivotal part of the Elvis story. And I'll tell you why. Because she affected him in so many ways. I really believe this. I really think that after going into the army and going to Germany and the loss of his mother, meeting her was massively life-changing for Elvis because, for a start, it took his attention off Anita Wood, didn't it? Not just that he had someone to talk to in Germany that was American, but also that he had something to take his mind off, that his worries in 1959, he was worried about his career, his future. He was insecure about his acting career and if he could be a credible actor. I know he had already done a couple of movies, hadn't he, which were quite good. And I always say this, King Creole is my favourite by far. Hi, Gail. Hi, Kerry. Are you both there today or is it just Gail? So I think I know that Elvis went back to America and got on with his career, making GI Blues, etc. But I also know that he still left part of him back with Priscilla. Hi, Gail. And I know that he was on and off for that period where he went back to America and Priscilla was still messaging him, phoning him sometimes, and he would phone her. No, actually, no, not true. She would wait for Elvis's phone calls. She would write him letters, I heard, most days in pink envelopes so he would notice them. But I do think, even though he was getting on with his career and he had this crazy life and he was making more albums and he had been on the Frank Sinatra show, there was a small part of him that remembered this little girl that he met in Germany at the time when he was very vulnerable, still recovering from the grief of his mother. So then we know the story. She eventually does go to Graceland, and this is a hot potato subject because there's a big argument on just how old she was when she went to Graceland or to his other home in America. Is it Palm Springs? Now, I did catch a lie in one of Priscilla's videos that said the bee trashed his life. We'll talk about that in a minute. I do think that Elvis hadn't made up his mind yet. He kept going back to this young girl that he met in Germany. But then he had his crazy life that was massively successful. And we know that he had completely changed his image. It's Lizette, my favorite subscriber. Hi, Lizette. Sending you lots of love. I haven't taken any pills today. So I want some more hot water in my coffee. Right, okay, there it is. I brought some. Right, as I was saying, I keep getting disturbed and knocked off my thought. Right. So a big argument in I think it's Sapphire is saying that, and I found it on a video clip with Priscilla saying that she had actually moved. I'll see if I can find the clip again. That she had actually moved to Graceland when she was just about to turn 16. So when she was 15. Now, this was a blatant lie, definitely. She should have said it. I don't even know why she said it. I know that she did visit Graceland and Palm Springs 2 or 3 times before she actually moved in, but she no way was nearly 16. She was nearer 18. I think she definitely went and visited Elvis a few times, once at Christmas and once was a holiday period when she was 17, but never 15 going on 16. So when I found this clip, I'm trying to find it now, I thought it was a bit naughty because I am trying to find where Priscilla is lying. I am. Yeah, I really like Anita Wood. I've watched loads of her interviews. And if it wasn't for Priscilla, there's a high chance they would have got married, wouldn't they? Can't find this clip. Let's have a look. Videos. It's going to come up. Come on. Give me some. Aha. I'll quickly play it you. And I'm trying to find where Priscilla's story is changing and where the clips are different than originally.
He started calling me and kept the relationship going. And I'd hoped to see him again, but I didn't see him until 1962 when he called and asked my parents if they would allow me to go over there and see him. Over there meaning going to LA. I was back still in Germany.
At what point did you move to Graceland?
I moved to Graceland when I was close to 16.
But not to marry him, just to live there and to continue your schooling. What kind of an arrangement was that they worked out?
You see, I found that on another Elvis channel, that clip. So I think it's called Rare Photos, but he's obviously found the clip himself and then added things to it. But now in that interview, and I've watched all of the interviewer is very much probing her, trying to find bad information. So it's sort of drawing out the bad stuff from her. Now, did she sit in that interview intending to play the victim and act like she had been wronged? I think she probably did in that interview. It's quite an early interview. Could be very late 70s, early 80s. But these interviewers, they really do try and draw out the negative stuff about Elvis. And they all do it. Every one of them do it. She definitely is lying. She did not go to Graceland just before she turned 16. 100% she did not. So if there's one lie, I agree. There could be many others. Now, I want to talk about the messages I've been getting, the comments, because there's so many. I don't think we're going to have enough time to do it now because I've only got about half an hour. But I just want to clear up, and people keep saying to me, "Oh, you must be a Priscilla fan. I'll call it a Priscilla channel." No, I am definitely not a Priscilla fan. I am very unhappy with many things Priscilla has done, and she has made many, many mistakes. But I want to understand why there is so much unhappiness with Priscilla. And I want to sort of break it down and find the discrepancies and the way that the interviews change over the years. Because I think the interviews in the earlier years are the ones where she said things that she didn't need to say. But I can also see the interviewers are dragging these questions out of her, these answers out of her. I do 100% think she played the victim for a long period of time in the early years, yeah? And I would say probably until she helped launch Gracelands, that the interviews were just not good, yeah? Was that 83, 84? There's only a few early interviews. And Barbara Walters' interview, I just can't stand it. The way she's digging and trying to get Priscilla to say things about Elvis, drug taking, being a paedophile, being controlling, having a bad temper. I just don't like it. I'm not happy with the way Barbara Walters interviewed Priscilla. And this guy, is he called Randall something? I forget. So Priscilla was born, so I'm just reading the comment. Priscilla was born in 45, 6'2", moving in 62. She was 17. Yeah, I agree. No, I know. She definitely did go to Graceland when she turned 17. Yeah, 100%. But in that interview, she does say, I was 15. So she shouldn't have said that. She knew how old she was when she moved to America. And I think part of this playing the victim thing is showing how young she was and how she's basically saying, I was young, I was naive, Elvis took advantage of me, he brought me to America. That's not what happened. Good morning, I'm just doing live. Aha. The dogs are in as well. The wife in. The wife is called Aurora. Good morning to my wife. She's beautiful. Aurora, say hello to the subscribers. She's shy. Anyway, so what I'm saying is the whole thing where she plays the poor girl that was took advantage of. She did play that card for the first few years of these interviews. I do think as she got older, she stopped saying those kind of things, unless the interviewers asked specifically about the age gap, or if he was controlling, or if he had a temper, or if they had sex after the baby was born. And she had a narrative that to try and keep people on side, and a lot of people fell for it. Just like a lot of people fell for the romance. Everyone thought that they had a fairy tale perfect romance at first, but they didn't. Yeah, obviously they had a very sweet time in Germany, but their romance was very rocky on both sides. They were both living very full lives, I would say, especially once Priscilla moved to America, her life was full. She was a busy girl doing all different kinds of things to keep herself occupied, spending a fortune and really enjoying a luxurious life. And obviously Elvis was massively into his career. We know that he was having affairs as well, and he had a double life with the Memphis Mafia. So it was all crazy, yeah? So when she plays the victim, it makes me think, well, hang on a minute, you were being unfaithful as well. You had very busy life with your dance lessons, acting lessons, karate lessons, and other stuff. And whilst Elvis was off busy, so you were both having the time of your lives. But yes, whilst this was all happening, you were both being unfaithful to each other. Elvis definitely should not have been unfaithful. I'm completely against anyone being unfaithful. But you put yourself in Elvis's shoes. You be Elvis Presley, and you get all those women throwing themselves at you, the most beautiful women on the planet, throwing themselves at you every day. Could you resist that? He was in his late 20s, early 30s. He wasn't ready to marry. He definitely wasn't ready to have a kid. So, these are complicated issues. So we have to try and be fair and listen to both stories, Elvis's story and Priscilla's story. Anyway, I'm going to start reading these comments because I don't really have long. I've got to take my daughter to work. So let's look at these comments that started coming in last night. Right, here we go. Gail says, she did go when she was 15. It's in the movie Elvis and Me. And I watched Elvis and Me the day before yesterday. Do you mean the one that's free on YouTube? And Elvis didn't play up on her till Priscilla was playing up on Elvis before Elvis. Yeah, fair enough, Gail. But the thing where she said that she went to Graceland's at 15, I'd need proof of that. I did. See, this is what I'm saying. When I get these comments, and this is what I've started doing with all my comments, I don't want hearsay. I need actual proof that, because you say that it was in the movie. I don't remember it. I do. In the movie, it did show her going to America very young, but it didn't say her age. And I wouldn't say that the movie is proof. Yeah. So I'm not. If I'm wrong, that she went to America when she was 15. I'd need to see proof. I need to go, right. Here's the plane ticket. Here's a picture of Priscilla aged 15 that can be proved that she was 15 that she went. Because from what I've seen, she was not 15. And if you look at the later interviews that she gives, she doesn't say she was 15. She says she was older. So this, this is what I'm trying to say now on my channel, is that if we're going to say things about Priscilla or Elvis, it can't just be hearsay. It can't just be our opinions. It can't just be something we've read before in comments or seen in videos that we watched years ago. I think it needs to at least be in a book, yeah, or video footage showing them actually saying the comment. Yeah, there's so many things that are said that Elvis did, Priscilla did, that are just talk. And I want proof. I want much more accuracy. That's a big part of my channel for me. I know I'm coming across a bit stern, but there's comments. I'm getting so many comments now that I'm trying to get to the truth. Yeah, not just how people feel and that people are angry and passionate. So let's go to the video. Okay, let's try and find it. Sometimes it's hard to find these comments, but I've had some brilliant comments. Okay. Right, Lady Capricorn. Lady Capricorn, if you're out there, she gives really good, detailed comments. So, Lady Capricorn, here is something simple to understand. Now, I really like this comment. Frank Sinatra was married 4 times in his illustrious life. Nancy Barbato, his first wife, and mother to his 3 children. He left her for the very beautiful actress Ava Gardner in 1951 to 1957. Then they divorced. He was a single man for about a decade. He then married a young Mia Farrow. He was 50 and she was 21. The marriage was troubled because he asked her to give up her acting career, and she did for a couple of years. Then she was offered a part in Rosemary's Baby. That decision she made ended the marriage. However, they remained close, good friends. His final marriage was to Barbara Marx, former wife of Groucho Marx. He stayed married to her until he passed. Now, she says this because she's going to make a point. Right. My point is, not one of these 4 ladies ever wrote a tell-all story about their life while married to Frank. I am sure that there must have been much to tell, but they chose not to. I know where she's going with this. On the other hand, we have Priscilla Wagner Bulow, so Wagner being her real father's name, who has written books, did interviews about Elvis prior to and after 1977. I do remember the interview with Priscilla gave to the press after leaving Elvis, and Mr. Mike Stone was sitting at her side during this interview. And I've been looking for this. There's people telling me that just after she left Elvis, she did an interview, stood with Mike Stone, the karate instructor, who also was Elvis's friend, the person she left Elvis for, and he was just stood there while they did this interview. Now, I want to find this interview. Because I have not found it anywhere. Her with Mike Stone sort of boasting about being in love with Mike Stone and talking about Elvis in a negative light. Anyway, so let me just read that little bit. Right, I do remember the interview Priscilla gave to the press after leaving Elvis, and Mr. Mike Stone was sitting at her side during the interview. I have tried to find that interview for many years to no avail. It just seems to be lost. She probably has had a hand in it, making it disappear altogether forever. Again, I'd need proof of that, but I understand the point. It was very unclassy thing to do. Anyone, and I agree. If that happened and she was with Mike Stone being interviewed just after she left Elvis and Mike Stone was her new lover, that's bad. That's cruel. Can you imagine how Elvis felt? Only months after they split up, she's there with her lover being interviewed, all happy and boasting. Not good if it happened. I'd need proof. Right. I remember thinking at the time, why did she do that? It was very unclassy thing to do. Anyone, especially the father of your child, it was a cruel and mean-spirited thing to do. Agreed, if it happened. And there's a good chance it did happen, but we don't know, do we? But I'd love to be able to prove that. We could assume that Elvis had other women during his marriage to Priscilla. Yes, she claims she was not aware of them. I think she probably was to some degree. Yeah, I find it hard to believe that she was not aware of them. Again, you've just said that she wasn't aware of them. I'd need to see that in proof. I think she probably was to some degree. Okay. Priscilla was rejected by Elvis on every level, physically, emotionally, mentally. She was very angry over being let go of. Now, I agree that she has said he wouldn't make love with her after the baby was born. So physically. Now, emotionally, it's hard because the Elvis, the interviews I've watched and the things I've learned about Elvis is that he actually was quite an emotional person. And I think he would have had a closeness to Priscilla, even if it wasn't sexual, because he was a real deep person and he was very romantic and very loving and very caring. So I think when he was home, I think emotionally he may have been a great friend. But obviously we've got the medication thrown into the mix, prescribed medication. Maybe that made him distant and even mentally. Now, is Lady Capricorn trying to say that if she's stuck at home in Graceland, waiting for Elvis, longing for Elvis, wondering if Elvis was being unfaithful, that was torture for her? And I don't believe Priscilla just sat at home waiting for Elvis. I think she was in America having the time of her life. Yes, did she miss him? Of course. Did she worry that he was being unfaithful? Definitely. Did she miss the father of Lisa and wish the father was home? Definitely. 100%. So is that what you mean? But I also think, did she just get on with life and try and make the best of things? 100%. She was living a life of luxury, plenty of money to do whatever she wanted. And Elvis did try and make sure she had everything she needed. So, you know, there's the good and the bad in it. You know, you can play the victim, but you also have to talk about the good stuff. This is what I say about Priscilla. She doesn't say enough of the good things that were happening in her life when she was very young. So in her 20s, I would say. That had nothing to do with Elvis and his double life that he led when he was away making movies, doing concerts. Yes, and having affairs. Right, let's have a look. So, right, she was very angry over being let go of. Now, again, that is a sentence that has come from Lady Capricorn. So we can read that in so many different ways. Because she pursued him so intentionally as a very young woman. And we are told that Priscilla really tried to get Elvis back on track by sending the letters. I heard that she used to send him a record every week. But I've heard that they pursued each other because Elvis did keep in touch and did try and win the parents over so they'd allow her to come to Gracelands. So they pursued each other. Yeah, unless you're going by Child Bride. Now, Child Bride has a completely different concept, doesn't it? Child Bride talks about how it was all set up and she dressed up and came across as this innocent young girl with the whole intention of Elvis noticing her and falling for her, and with the help of Cary Grant. So there's a whole different story there with Child Bride. And I'm still not convinced with Child Bride yet, even though I think some of the facts are probably true in Child Bride. There's still a lot to learn about Child Bride. And last night I was listening to Suzanne Finstad's interviews from 1997. And she was talking about the Child Bride book and the Natalie Wood book. And she clearly said that she had recorded all the interviews and also manuscripted all the interviews, you know, so it was all written down and recorded. I want to see that, guys. I want to see these recording, because I also read that many of the people in Child Bride that had said things in Suzanne Finstad's book, Child Bride, are now denying it and saying they never said it. So not straightforward. We know that there was only one lawsuit with Cary Grant, Priscilla did on Cary Grant, and nothing else against Suzanne Finstad and against her publishing company. Now, there'll be reasons for that. And so, again, we're just guessing. So she says, right. So because she pursued him so intentionally as a very young woman, too young in my opinion, she saw her 20s rushing by and she wanted a big career for herself before she got too old. We all know Hollywood loves youth, especially in women, so she had a small window there. She was 28 in 1973. Now, that is just Lady Capricorn's hearsay. It's very possible that she really wanted a career. Now, was she thinking, I'm 28, I need to take advantage of this window of opportunity? I don't know. It's a guess, isn't it? It's just a guess. So, and even though she pursued him, well, they pursued each other. So that's my reaction to that section. Right, we're still going with Lady Capricorn's comment. Also, out of all the women he was involved with, none have said anything disparaging about Elvis. Well, I agree that almost all the interviews you see from people like Lynn Thompson and Ginger Alden, and there's a few quite detailed interviews. Well, they do still say that he had a prescribed medication problem. They do say that. They do say he had a bit of an eating problem. So a few of them say that he did have a bit of temper. It was my way or the highway. He was a bit like that. So I don't agree that that no one says anything negative about Elvis at all. But I do agree that generally, when you listen to interviews about Elvis from anyone, very highly of him and always talk about how lovely, charming, obviously how handsome, but how intelligent he was, how full of life he was, and energetic and such fun to be with. But they do talk about the things that we all know about, with him feeling lost, and like he'd lost his purpose in life, and putting on weight and taking the tablets. They do, you know, they don't all speak 100% positive about Elvis. But I do think that when Priscilla is being interviewed, the interviewers really probe her. They're really trying to drag out the negative stuff, really. And she's got to reply to these questions. So did she have to say all the things she said? No. But let's not ignore all the good things she said, because Priscilla would say hundreds of good things about Elvis in every interview. So it wasn't all bad. I'm trying to get a balanced view here. Right. Right, let's have a look. Right, let's just start that section again. Also, out of all the women he was involved with, none have said anything disparaging about Elvis. They all said he was sweet and very loving and kind to them. They did, yeah. Also, none ever said he wanted them to dress in a certain way or wear lots of makeup. In fact, I read where he liked natural beauty. So I have never believed the story Priscilla has put out that he had groomed her to look in a certain way. Now, I've watched interviews, right? And I don't agree that said that he had groomed her. I believe she definitely said that he would influence her on how she did her makeup, how she did her hair, how she would dress. But she never said Elvis forced me to dress in this way. Never. And if she has, please show me a clip of the interview. Of course, Elvis was interested in how she dressed and giving his point of view on his tastes in how his girlfriend dressed. But don't we all do that? I definitely do it with my wife. Of course we do. They put things on and we say what suits them. Same with makeup, same with hair. So I don't agree that she blatantly said Elvis controlled how I dressed, controlled how I did my hair, controlled my makeup. She didn't say that. She just made it clear that he influenced her. This is what I've seen in interviews. Right, let's have a look. Right, wear lots of makeup. And yes, she definitely did say that he liked heavy makeup. This is in the, this is in the 60s, yeah? And that he liked the beehive hairdo and the black hair. She has said that, but never that he had forced it on her. Never. I read where he liked natural beauty. Yeah, of course Elvis liked natural beauty. He had the pick of them, didn't he? And did he want all his girlfriends covered in thick makeup? Of course not. So I've never believed this story has put out there that he groomed her. Now, she's never used the word groomed. This is a word used by subscribers on the comments. And I put it to you to find her say the word groomed. Now, the interviewers have done it. I think Deborah Walters definitely said it. Yeah? She was one who wanted to look older and sophisticated. I agree. She wanted to look older and sophisticated, so she would put the makeup on that was trending in the 60s, the hair, the way she dressed. And what 17-year-old doesn't want to look older? I've got a 70-year-old daughter. They want to look older. They do. They want to feel like a grown-up. So was that because of Elvis? Well, yes, in a way, because she fancies Elvis and she wants to look more womanly for him. Was the one who wanted to look older and sophisticated. She was the one who thought Elvis liked that. I wish he had told her to lose the beehive hairstyle because she was too small and short for that style. Okay. I mean, I actually thought for the time, the year that she did it in the 60s, it suited her. It made her look too heavy. She wanted a more glamorous life than Elvis. She may have been bored of his interest in his books, learning, and the quiet solitude that she enjoyed. Now, we don't know if it was quiet and solitude in that household, because I heard that household was very busy, buzzing with life. So, again, it's speculation. When we could find that solitude he liked, he was a busy man so much of the time, making money, all of the people he supported financially. Yeah, he definitely did. And of which there were many. He was not perfect. 100% Elvis made mistakes. But he also did some amazing things, didn't he? All through his fame, the amount of people that he helped and the charities he supported, and how kind he was to his friends and family and complete strangers. My God, I could go on forever how amazing Elvis was. Anyway, did Priscilla know her flaws? Was she willing to admit them? No. Well, in the 60s, I don't think enough had happened. I think when she in the 70s, early 70s, when I think there was a point when she just was, with the dance instructor, was his name Stephen Peck, and with Mike Stone and maybe other people. I think there was a time when she was like, well, if he's being unfaithful, I'm going to be unfaithful. I also think she fell in love easily as well, just like Elvis did. So, right. So I agree. She doesn't admit her faults. She doesn't. I've never seen Priscilla admit a fault ever in any interview. Not once. She has never, ever said one thing that she is of any wrongdoing. Never. And this is my dilemma with Priscilla. Is that, okay, let's talk about Elvis. Let's answer honestly about Elvis questions from interviewers, but never about herself. And this is the mistake with the film as well, the Priscilla film. It was all from her point of view and how she was the victim, how he was the bad guy. I really wish that Priscilla did not make the film Priscilla because it was so unfair on Elvis. And I think one of the biggest mistakes she's ever made, and the other massive mistake, was the Riley Keough lawsuit. These are the two things that blow my mind. And again, the way it was so public, the way she left Elvis and was with Mike Stone and everyone knew about it. It must have been horrific for Elvis. Horrific. I feel so sorry for Elvis. but he was playing with fire by being unfaithful as well. So I'm just coming to the end of this comment, and I'll read some of these comments on here. I don't have much longer because I've got to take my daughter to work, so I'm going to come back to you guys. Did Priscilla know her flaws? Yes, good. That's a very good point, Lady Capricorn. She never has ever. She enjoyed being naughty. I agree. Priscilla definitely was also naughty. I do believe that. Even giggles about it. Yes, I've seen her doing the little giggles. But a lot of the giggles are when the interviewer says to her that he's playing away, playing the field. And she's at one of the interviews, she says, yes, the women jumped him. And she laughs. And then Priscilla, and then Piers Morgan makes a joke about it. But it was serious at the time, wasn't it? If your husband's being unfaithful, with obviously Anne Margaret, etc., then it wasn't a laughing matter. But then she would go and do it as well. So we hear now another book is in the works. Yeah, I haven't had complete proof yet. Priscilla's writing another book. I've seen it in comments. I'd like to know actual proof from a publisher that releases that says we are writing a book with Priscilla. I'd like to see that because I don't know yet. Obviously, we know about the book with Ryla Keough and Lisa Marie. That's out there big time now. And everyone's talking about the cover photo because it doesn't show Priscilla in the cover photo. And I'm really looking forward to that book. Right. So then let's have a look. Right. So I love Elvis. I have hated the ugly comments that so many have made about him for so many years. It needs to end because he has no voice. Even when he was alive, he had no voice to speak of. He had to speak of us using the songs he chose to record. But that is a different topic for another day. Now, I love that comment from Lady Capricorn. Now I've had a chance to read it through because when I initially read it, I thought, wow, what an amazing comment. I love every word. But now I've had a chance to break it down properly. I can't agree with the things that we can't prove. We must prove the hearsay is hearsay. The opinions is opinions. So from some of the things said through this long comment, I'd like to because I replied to her saying, wow, love this comment. Thank you so much. You won me over. Fully agree with every word. Well, I have to take that back a little bit because now I'm like, some of these bits need to be proven. Right. Hello, Lady Capricorn. Right. Let's have a look here. Let's read these comments. How are you, Lady Capricorn? You okay? Right. Let's have a look. Right. So it's a shame. I've got another hour of talking to do, but I have to take my daughter to work. So that family comes first. Let's have a look. Anita, okay. Right. So Gail says Anita did go when she was 15. Elvis didn't play up on her. Priscilla was playing up on Elvis before Elvis. I don't agree with that. I actually think, well, it depends when you officially class them as boyfriend and girlfriend, because she had her own life that she was getting on with, waiting for Elvis. So the Child Bride tries to go into that. The Child Bride, the book. So then we've got, right. So Gail is saying that it's on YouTube. That she was 15 when she went to Graceland. Now I'd have to see that. Yeah, and not just people saying it. I'd have to have proof. Yeah, because I'm not convinced she came to America when she was 15, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm not the guru of Elvis. I'm learning a lot. Right, let's have a look. So, oh no, Lady Capricorn isn't there. So it's Gail saying that she agrees with that comment, and it's a great comment, Gail. It is brilliant comment, and annoyingly, that is one of many brilliant comments. Right, I'm gonna try and quickly read this one before I run off to take my daughter to work. And it's from user GZ5X. I have seen every movie ever made of Elvis. I recommend the Elvis movie with starring Kurt Russell, which I agree, and it's free on YouTube. Is it free on YouTube, that one? No, it's not. No, I've watched it many times. I love that film. But the Elvis and Me film that's free on YouTube is still very good, made in 1988. I really liked it. Kirk knew Elvis. Yeah, he did. He was just a little boy. He's the one that kicked him in the shin, isn't he? And he was very handsome in the movie. I agree. He played it really well. In all Elvis movies, whether done from Priscilla's viewpoint or just for fictional history, the key points that are always stressed: Elvis in depression. Yeah, I don't know if depressed is the right word though. Always in deep thought, still craving for his mother, not understanding why fame had been bestowed on him and all this natural talent, and looking for a purpose for his talent. Right, let's have a look. Obsessed with his twin brother, yes, and basically intense. Elvis that only thought about himself. Never do they stress his devotion to God. It's true. And we know Elvis was very spiritual and that he was a really good God-fearing Christian from a very young age, going right back to Mississippi Tupelo. And he loved the church. You know he loved gospel. His generosity, his promotion of black artists, 100% true. His humor, his caring towards women. He treated each girlfriend he had like an angel. He literally did everything he could for them. But he couldn't be faithful, guys. We can't get away from that. His devotion to his music, constantly honing his voice. Yeah, he wanted his songs to be perfect. And he would practice over and over again to get it right. I know that the 2-hour drama can include all of Elvis did in his 42 years, but it's always the man depressed Elvis. I don't agree with that. Hearing a recent interview with his fiancée, Ginger Alden, she said that everybody thought he was so depressed, which was absolutely wrong. She said they laughed, went places, he read the Bible, and he talked about having a son with her. He talked about what kind of wedding she wanted, and I believe her. She was a genuine person, very well spoken and articulate. And I've watched the Ginger Alden interviews. I agree. She says all that. She says he was upbeat, looking forward to the up-and-coming live tours, and that he was excited for the life ahead of him. And he had lost weight. He started to get a bit better. And it's true. She was 20 when she met him, now 67. She said that she told Elvis she would be there as often as he could, but would not move in with him. She said he respected her for that. She said he was getting ready to go on a tour in Maine and was talking about the music and everything the day before he died. She said she hated all the awful books written after he died. I agree. There were some horrible books written about Elvis that really made him out to be just really crap. Yeah. British word crap. Yeah. Mostly written and all written for money. She also said some of the mafia guys have drifted away and betrayed him. They sure did. We know that from the tell-all book. I actually think all of the Memphis Mafia regretted writing that book. I've seen some interviews after the writing of that book, and they were deeply upset. I think they never accepted that they had betrayed Elvis like that. I think it always was on their mind. Never addressed it in his Alpha 1 disease and written about Destined to Die Young. And I know about this book with Sally Holder. He never talked about his early onset glaucoma, his heart trouble. And Larry Geller said, and I really like Larry Geller, he had a light heart attack in his presence in 1975. I've seen that interview. His liver was so diseased, it was filtering out toxins, which led to his bloating appearance and his pale skin. He was very unwell. Yeah. Remember, his mother's parents were first cousins, and he inherited a double gene, which his mother, who had died at 46, her two brothers also, who died in their 40s, all of heart failure, liver failure, lung problems. It was amazing at all that he had going on, that he managed as well as he did. And then it said, Louis, take in all the factors, whether Priscilla lied or not. Just learn what a man who loved everybody did for music. And all this section here, talking about his health problems and Gladys's parents being first cousins, which also was a big reason why he was so unwell. And he really did suffer, and he really did need his medication big time. And he was a very unwell man, as well as the addiction to the prescribed medication. Now, that was a great informative comment that really does detail things about Elvis that I think many people don't know about. That's user GZ5X. Now, I'm going to have to go, guys, because I've got to take my daughter to work. So, thanks for the comments. I'm going to have to come back to this because I need another hour to go through these comments. And please know this, I am not a Priscilla fan. I'm an Elvis fan. I'm just trying to get to the truth. And the only way that I'm going to get to the truth is by going through these comments and trying to find some evidence to support the comments. So it's not just hearsay, guys. But ultimately, I love Elvis. And I'm there, Elvis. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to say goodbye. My wife's in the background. She's getting ready for our daughter to go to work. Take care, guys. Yeah, Russell Crowe was great. Thanks, Gail. All the best to you. Thanks for joining me this morning. I'm going to come back later for part 4. Priscilla Presley. I didn't do it. Take care.